In this video, I will explain how steam engines set the Industrial Revolution in motion and turned the world upside down. From the first textile factories to the earliest railways, discover how people's lives changed fundamentally. The Industrial Revolution began in the 18th century in England. Steam engines were invented and made heavy work easier. They powered machines in factories and slowly replaced human and animal labor. Suddenly, many more goods could be produced much faster. Coal was the fuel for steam engines. England had many coal mines, which became very important now. Workers dug deep into the earth to extract coal. Without coal, the Industrial Revolution wouldn't have really taken off. In the 1760s, machines like the spinning jenny were invented. It could spin much more yarn at once than a person. Suddenly, huge textile factories appeared, where fabrics were produced in mass quantities. Clothing became cheaper, and more people could afford it. In 1825, the first steam locomotive, the locomotion number 1, ran in England. Railways made it possible to transport goods and people faster. Cities grew because it was easier to travel from one place to another. The world somehow became smaller because of this. Before, people made things like pots or clothes by hand at home. With the Industrial Revolution, machines moved into large factories. They could produce much more than a single craftsman, but many craftsmen lost their jobs because of this. In factories, children often worked because they were cheap. They had to work up to 14 hours a day for little money. The work was dangerous, and many became sick or injured. At that time, there were no laws protecting children. Because of the factories, many people moved from the countryside to the cities. Between 1800 and 1850, cities like London or Manchester became huge. People searched for work, but the cities were often dirty and overcrowded. Apartments were small, and the air smelled of smoke and garbage. Inventors like James Watt greatly improved the steam engine. Their ideas made machines stronger and more efficient. Without such smart minds, the Industrial Revolution wouldn't have changed so much. They were like the superheroes of their time. With steam power, more iron could be produced. Iron was needed for bridges, rails, and machines. It was strong and durable, unlike wood. This led to huge constructions that were previously impossible. Factories had tall chimneys that blew black smoke into the sky. The smoke came from burning coal. The air in cities became dirty, and people often coughed. Clean air became a luxury. Workers were often angry because they earned so little. Some even destroyed machines out of fear of losing their jobs. These protests were called the Luddite movement. They wanted better treatment from the bosses. Thanks to railways and steamships, goods could be sent far away. England sold fabrics and machines to other countries. Suddenly, trade was no longer just local but worldwide. This made many countries richer and more dependent. Towards the end of the 19th century, electricity became important. It slowly replaced steam power in some factories. Machines now ran even cleaner and quieter. This was the start of a new era. With electricity came streetlights to the cities. It was no longer so dark and dangerous at night. People could stay outside or work longer. Cities became more modern and lively. In 1876, Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone. Now people could talk over long distances. This sped up everything, especially in business. The world felt even smaller than with the railway. At the end of the 19th century, Carl Benz built the first motor car. It was slower than today's cars, but a big deal. Horse-drawn carriages were gradually replaced. Streets changed completely. Henry Ford later made cars cheaper with assembly lines. Workers only had to do one task repeatedly. This sped up car production and made them affordable for more people. It was a huge step for industry. More and more women worked in factories, especially in textiles. They earned less than men, but it was a start. Some later fought for better rights. The role of women began to change. Many factories and coal smoke destroyed nature. Rivers became polluted, and forests disappeared for coal and iron. Many animals lost their habitats. People realized too late the damage they caused. With industrialization, companies needed people who could read and calculate. Schools became mandatory for more children. Education was no longer just for the rich. This changed society in the long run. Thanks to machines, some people had more free time. Cinemas, parks, and sports became popular. Workers could finally relax, not just toil. Leisure became a new thing. From around 1870, the Second Industrial Revolution began. Steel, chemistry, and electricity were now the stars. The world changed even faster than before. It was like a turbo boost for industry. Chemistry brought new materials like plastic and dyes. Factories now produced not only clothes, but also medicines. Life became more colorful and comfortable. But some chemicals were also toxic. Steel was stronger than iron and perfect for tall buildings. Skyscrapers sprang up in cities like New York. Bridges became longer and more stable. The world suddenly looked very different. At the end of the 19th century, the first labor laws appeared. Children were allowed to work less and working hours got shorter. Unions fought for better wages. Factories slowly became fairer places. The Industrial Revolution later helped in wars. Factories produced weapons and tanks in large quantities. Technology was also used for destruction. This showed how powerful industry had become. By the 20th century, machines were in every area of life. From vacuum cleaners to typewriters, everything became easier. People could no longer imagine life without machines. The world was completely transformed. Thanks to steamships and railways, countries became more connected. Goods, ideas, and people traveled faster than ever before. The world became a big network. This still shapes us today. Cities got water pipes, electricity, and public transport. Life became more comfortable and cleaner. But the gap between rich and poor remained large. Modernity had its price. The Industrial Revolution laid the foundation for our world. Technology keeps developing even today. It brought progress, but also problems. We still live with its consequences.